Hello, and welcome to another episode of Bulldog Profiles. I am Kylie Lindquist, your assistant principal for curriculum and instruction here at RB, and I am happy to be back in Studio A of RBTV, hosting one of my favorite shows on RBTV. Bulldog Profiles gives you an opportunity to meet some of the new teachers and staff each year and hear a little bit about where they come from and what they have to offer at RB. I'm very excited this episode to be joined by Kayley Smetana. Welcome.
Thank you.
Kayley is our new choir director here at RB, which is really exciting, and we're going to get into all kinds of stuff about that. But you do more than choir, so can you talk to the audience just a little bit about what you do in its totality here at RB as a choir director?
So as you said, I'm the choir director, so I have 3 curricular choirs, but I also actually co-teach band as well. I am co-teaching wind ensemble and symphonic band with Mr. Baum and Mr. Loeb. And then I also teach the studio music production class that is running this semester.
Awesome. You have your hands in a little bit of everything in the music department, right?
Absolutely.
So talk to us a little bit first about what does it take to become a music educator? What did your post-secondary collegiate path look like to be able to be qualified for that position?
I went to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, so big school. There with the music school, it is a very specific course for classes.
Okay.
So there are very specific classes you have to take your first 2 years. You really don't have room for electives or any gen eds as they call it at UOI. But I also was enrolled in the Women's Glee Club choir there, as well as an a cappella group on campus that was completely student run.
Awesome. So you're a singer yourself?
Yes.
Awesome. Very cool. And where were you prior to coming to RB? Where did we find you, so to speak? I know, but the viewers don't know.
Yeah, so I am from the suburbs, but I actually started teaching in central Illinois.
Okay.
For 4 years. I was in a town called Riverton. I taught at the middle and the high school there. So I had 6 sections of choir, only taught choir, no band, no any other like electives, kind of like studio music. So it was just 6 classes of choir, and then I also directed the madrigal ensemble, which was extracurricular there, and the spring musicals, and the a cappella jazz groups as well.
So you were quite busy when you were in Riverton as well. I've noticed that about music educators. Music educators literally never stop.
Correct.
It is a role that you walk into, and you could work from sunup to sundown and probably through the night and still be doing all of the things. What made you say, this is the path that I want to take in my life? I want to give up this much of my personal time, right, to dedicate to educating young people.
I was super involved in the music program when I was in high school. I went to Lincoln Way East, which is in Frankfort, so south of here. But we had madrigals was extracurricular there. We had multiple extracurricular a cappella groups. I was in the honors choir, and I held leadership positions in every group that I was in, as well as directed the underclassmen groups that I was not in. And I was on, we called it student council, but the same thing as student association here. I was on the executive board for that as well. So leadership roles were always kind of my thing, and I pretty much lived at school when I was a student, and I loved it. Teaching came naturally to me, being a leader in those programs, and I really just wanted to stick with education as a whole, and being so involved in the music program and getting to hold those leadership roles made it clear that music was the specific sector of education that I wanted to go into.
Absolutely. Little known fact by some people, I was a choir kiddo when I was in high school. I did not grow up in Illinois or around here. I was also a madrigal kiddo. And I know, because I used to sing a lot, and now I don't sing that much, that you sometimes lose it if you don't practice your instrument, right? How do you keep yourself as a singer kind of in tune with your instrument?
So in choir classes, I sing along most days. So to teach the music, I sing it to them.
Beautiful.
So I'm doing that. But I also do a lot of solo repertoire just at home for fun to kind of keep up with that. I am not currently involved in any community choirs. That is the goal, hopefully soon-ish. But I really, it's just practicing every day. I mean, we saw after COVID, a lot of people that, they kind of lost it. Their range has shrunk, and it's kind of a relearning year because a lot of people weren't formally singing for so long. So,
what is the most exciting thing for you about teaching the arts to young people? Because here's why I ask. It's so different, and it's not a slight to any other subject, but it's so different to teach students a fine art than it is when I was in the classroom. I was teaching student English, right? And there's a very specific. It's this way. It's a black and white sort of situation. But you are teaching culture, and you are teaching so much more than that. So what does it really mean to you to be able to impart that for young people?
It's incredible. First and foremost, most kids that are enrolled in the music classes choose to be there, which is huge. I think a lot of other classes, even whether kids enjoy it or not, it's
you're going to English, whether you want to or not.
You are in that, exactly.
Yes.
Every year or certain years, but kids get a choice to take this class. So most of the time they're invested and they're passionate about it. And like you said, we're teaching humanities. We are teaching, you have to put emotion and you have to put personality into the music. So it's not just sit there quietly and it's correct or it's incorrect, and here's why. And it's also a team effort.
Yes.
You can't do anything on your own in the way that you can do it as the ensemble as a whole. So it's super cool because there is that collaborative effort, and it's its own mini community within the music program. But then even so, in the choir classroom, the kids kind of have to get to know each other, and whether they're best friends or not, they're forced to work with each other and grow and become relatively close.
And you mentioned, you're teaching the humanities in so many different ways, but I've observed your classroom. I've been in choir classrooms and band classrooms. You're also teaching, you're teaching history and meter and rhythm, and
there's a lot of math in music.
Yeah, there's so much going on there. For you, what is the most exciting thing about being a teacher of music?
I think it's when all of the elements come together for the final product, because I always say music is math, and I love that element to it. But also teaching the history behind it, and you are diving into the English, you are analyzing the text. We do a lot of music from other cultures, so you're also looking at foreign languages. So I love all of the little aspects, but when it all comes together and when you see that moment click for both yourself and your students and the final product, that's definitely my favorite part, is once you hit that moment where you can finally run through a full piece and say, I'm proud of what we just did.
Yeah. What is the thing that you are most proud of in your career so far as a music educator?
That's a hard one. Honestly, I think just putting on successful performances and not feeling incredibly overwhelmed by that.
Yes.
Because as you mentioned, there is a lot that goes into the music program in any school. But I think just having what I feel passionate about as a teacher kind of transfer to the students and putting on those successful performances is huge.
And what is something you look forward to as you grow into your position at RB? I know that this year there was a desire to go on a trip, maybe out of state, and that maybe isn't going to work because of the COVID thing. Are you looking forward to trips? What is the thing that you really want to be able to do once we get more back to normal, even more so than we are now?
I think, honestly, even not traveling far with kids, but little trips. So for example, we have one tentatively planned to go to U of I to sing with the voice faculty there. Things like that, or I know that Madrigals usually does a trip to Western Illinois that they are sorely missing this year. So I think the little experiences are often some of the best ones, because when you go on a trip out of state, everyone's hyping that up. Everyone's so excited for that. But the little ones, I think, are often undervalued, and they always end up being some of the favorites. I know that some of the most important performances of my life were just traveling an hour away to work with someone else, not even for a performance, just a clinic with another music educator. So
that's great. So we're getting close to our time limit, but before we go, I want to ask you this and give you kind of a chance to talk directly to the audience. What kind of kid should be a music kid? And what should students who have never considered being in a music class, whether it's choir or band or studio music, rock band, all the choices that we have, what would you say to a student who's considering coming into music but hasn't made that decision yet?
First and foremost, music is for everyone. I don't believe anyone that says they don't listen to music outside of school or they don't like music. I think I've met maybe one person in my entire life that says they don't like music. But oftentimes within the school setting, it's, well, that's not my kind of music. But the cool thing about RB, which we didn't have at my last school, is there's a class for everyone. Studio music is not a performance class. They're writing and they're making beats, and jazz band and rock band are totally different. So there's a class for everyone that is offered here. And something else I love to say is when kids say, oh, I can't sing, you don't want me in choir, I always equate that to, that's like saying I can't take calculus because I don't know how to do calculus. That's what you take it for, to learn how to do it. So even if you don't feel like you're the best singer, if you're not super comfortable, there's a place for you, and we'll teach you.
Absolutely. Well, we are hoping to build our choir program. We are hoping to build our band programs, all of the music programs. We want all the kids to come out and be involved in music because we have great assets, of which you are now one. Thank you very much for joining me, Kayley. It has
Thanks for having me.
Really awesome to talk to you. We hope that you will join us again on Bulldog Profiles when we interview some more teachers and get to know some more new faculty here at RB. Take care.